The following broadcast is brought to you by Mad Dog TV, a Dogphibian Entertainment Limited company. The following broadcast is brought to you by Mad Dog TV, a Dogphibian Entertainment Limited company.
Well, good evening. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the rather kind of mucked up and kind of I don't know what stream. Videos just decided not to work today. I don't know why. So hopefully it's sorted now. But yeah, I've been doing a bit of rejigging, so hope you'll pardon a bit of lateness and a bit of mucking about at that first bit there. So yeah, how is everyone? How have you been? Welcome to another Monday night stream. Managed to do 2 in a row. I'm doing well this week. Despite various things that have been getting in the way, we have managed to get online. Right. Okay, well, without further ado, have a look and see what's going on. So just let me get things working again. So we should be online there. So I'll just get rid of the splash screen. And of course, everything's gone to shit because nothing has been saved. There we go, that's better. Oh my god. Yeah, foolish me, didn't realise I was still stuck on the Pulsar thing from last week, which was a new one I set up and didn't realise. Oops, that was still on it. So yeah, I've had a bit of a rejig in the graphics this week, just trying to tidy things up a little bit and make things a little bit better. Than the format that was there last week, because this week we're back onto sort of what we were doing before. So all the mucking about with betas done, we're finished testing stuff, finished taking lovely photos for the RPG, whatever might be happening with it, and then going from there. So hopefully we're ready to go. Excuse me, I'm a bit thirsty, so I'm going to grab a drink. So yeah, you'll notice that things aren't moving much on the screen at the moment. That's just basically because I'm actually watching the OBS stream just to make sure that it's streaming properly after last week's shenanigans. I actually need to take that Nightbot thing off because that's finished now, isn't it? Let me just nip into Nightbot and sort that out. Nightbot. So yeah, Chris did his charity run last week, or over the weekend there, sorry. And yes, I don't know how it's gone because I've been kind of off Facebook today completely. Been a bit of a busy day at work, and last night was a bit busy as well. Loads of different things going on. Timers, disable. Put Fantastic on back on. That should be sorted. Like that. Right, that should be better now, yes. So, yeah, so who's all on? We've got Mad Dog and Aliens for automatically hosting. Thank you very much to those guys. Garzini, hello. Chiana's Geek, hello, and thank you for the host. Stephen Curry, good evening to you. And that's it so far. So glad you could join me. I'll stop looking at OBS now. And now that you know that I'm here, I'm going to switch the camera off because the camera has a little bit of issue. I still have a virtual machine running in the background of this machine at the moment, and it's not the best thing to have. Apologies for the blank bits on the right hand of the screen there. I'm not quite finished doing the graphics for that part yet. And to be honest, I'm not actually entirely sure what to do with that part of the screen so far. But we're getting there. Slowly but surely we're getting there. Yeah, right, so we are in an ASP. We are in a nice shiny new galaxy apparently. Things are a bit different. Space looks a little different. I do believe there's actually a lot more diffusion from the galactic core reflections there. That looks a lot clearer than it was, unless that's just the monitor. Yeah. So this is the first of us being actually out in the galaxy in 2.2, after all the beta stuff. So I thought we'd have a look and see just what's going on. I've not bought any new stuff for the ships or anything like that. Fluffy Bun, hello mate, well done. So let's have a look at the maps and see what we can see where we're actually going. If we've got anything mapped in, if not, then we'll get some waypoints programmed in. Open galaxy map.
Stellar cartography.
I have also spent some time this week updating all of the HCS voice pack stuff, which has been a bit of a pain in the bottom. Hey, Elaverick, welcome to the stream. Thank you for popping by. We appreciate your custom very much, so well done. We have a bookmark set for Blau, so let's go there. Plot route. That's only 200 odd light years away, so that is in the right direction, isn't it? Yes, it is. So what we'll do is we'll nip a little further away, perhaps. Or shall we go there? Nope. How about there? It's also a bit far away. Not quite. Let's try that one.
Selecting Wingman 1.
Are we in range? Almost. That'll do. Plot course. Right. That'll do. And then Blau will delete. And I'll bookmark that as well, so we know where we're going. Right, close galaxy map. Close galaxy map.
Closing map.
Right, so that's us set with a destination, which is up there somewhere. There it is, and I'm using the orange interface today for some reason. Never mind. Raise landing gear.
Gear up.
Get clear and jump.
Afterburners. Distancing now. Stand by. The FTL is charged and ready. Stand by.
Route resumption hard. Yep, lovely.
Engaging jump.
Engage jump drive.
Engaging jump.
Interesting. There's a lot of stuff in the new version of the voice packs. It doesn't seem to map properly. I'm not sure if it's just something I've done wrong, but it doesn't seem particularly right. timers. Fantasticon. Okay. Been a while since I've done this stuff, so you're gonna have to kind of bear with me as I try and get my bearings again. Open system map.
System map.
Fuel scooping complete.
Well, this looks interesting. Okay, I think we'll have a bit of an explore around here.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
I'm going to go slow because I'm in the middle of trying to do something on the other machine at the moment. Every 5 minutes, 5 lines. Let's do 30 lines. And every 15 minutes, submit. Right, so let's catch up on some of the chat there. What we got? Good evening, chat. Hello, Fluffy Bun. Hello, Gianna's Geek. I'll be looking forward to Fantasticon. Of course, I'm not even nearly ready for it. I haven't done anything that I intended to try and get planned and things organised for it. RPG is kind of a no-go at the minute with it. I'm just not entirely sure what's going on with it. Not sure what to do. I was going to try and see if I could get people who wanted to run games, if they wanted to run them themselves, and then deal with Dan and try and get everything sorted for them to get access to do it. But that turned out not to be necessary because we've taken a look at the room plans, and Dan and I have had a chat, and I'm not entirely convinced that the room that's been set aside for RPGing and tabletop gaming is going to be appropriate for RPGs. Is that a landable one? Nope. So I've kind of said this year I'm not going to take the RPG. For once, and I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm saying a lot because for some reason my head is like mince today. I am not entirely convinced that my brain's actually fully engaged all day today, especially given the fact I've been awake since 4 o'clock and didn't really get to sleep until gone 12 last night. So I'm a little bit tired, a little bit kind of phased out. Just hoping that I'm going to be coherent enough to do a little bit of a thing. Psycho Cow! Yay! Psycho Cow, you'll notice if you keep watching the bottom part of the screen, the little ad banners that keep rotating round, I've put a little present in there for you. Put a little bit of advertising for you. I'm trying to branch out on some of the stuff that was on this thing. And to be honest, I actually lost some of the old graphics files. So I started looking towards a green theme, and I'm jumping ahead with so many different things today. Anyway, Fantasticon. I'll finish that conversation. I'll finish with the Fantasticon conversation, and then I'll move on to the next things. I should actually start making a list. But yes, so decided not to take the RPG this year. Possibly going to take the books with me that I did for the last couple of conventions, and maybe do a few off-the-cuff games, very unofficial type games. But I'm not going to do anything official. So if anybody's drunk enough at 2 o'clock in the morning or wants to have a bit of a session at 1, 2, whatever, then we might do that. But there's nothing planned into the schedule for Fantasticon this time. What I am taking with me this year is I'm going to bring my 3D printer. I suggested this to Dan to see if he was interested in this kind of thing, and there is an application for these things, for things like cosplay, gaming, that kind of stuff. So we are looking at it from that point of view. Where are we going now? Straight across. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to 3D print a game to take with me to demonstrate what I have in my head for different DaftWorks products above and beyond the RPG as time goes forward, and sort of where I wanted the 3D printer to go. Now, apparently, as far as I'm aware, and as far as Dan has told me, I'm the first person that he knows that has a 3D printer of his own. So I'm quite keen to try and see if Dan and other people around at Fantasticon would be interested in looking at such a thing and having a chat about it and seeing where it will go. Elaverick, it's the Vector 3D. There was a magazine collection called 3D Create and Print, which was brought out a couple of years ago. It was advertised around about Christmas last year. Not last year, year before last. And essentially it's a part work. You spend roughly 700 quid on a set of magazines and parts for the printer. You build the printer yourself, and the magazines build up into a collection of how 3D printing works, what it's used for, tutorials on the software and how to use the actual machine, and obviously how to build the machine itself. It was, to be honest, I think very, very good value for money. The 3D printer itself, its price line is roughly the same, and now that I've built it and used it, I can quite confidently say that it is a very good printer. It's not massive quality, it's not great, brilliant, sort of top of the line industrial quality 3D printer. It's a home printer. It's something you can use to 3D print bits and pieces for use around the house, or bits and pieces for use for games and miniature gaming and all that kind of stuff. The resolution on it is very, very... Is it very, very good? I would say it's good on an industrial scale, but for the price I've paid for it, I actually think the quality is very good. For a £700 printer, it's damn good. And it's an attractive little machine as well. I've done a couple of videos of things that I've done with it, and I just haven't had the time to put them up because I've had to try and modify a lot of different things, and there are different things going on. I've not had time to edit anything. Elaborate, good lord, man, you've got to get it set up. It's great. Lots of fun once you get everything configured properly. If you need a hand, give us a shout, and if you've got some problems or some questions, because obviously I don't know which one you have, so I can't give you exact technical stuff on the one that you have. In fact, tell me which one you have, and I'll tell you if there's anywhere I can think of that might have some information for you. But it's all about configuring it and calibrating it. As long as it's calibrated properly, you will get some very, very good quality stuff off it. It is, I think it's the next big thing for me as far as I'm concerned. And it was always one of those things that when I started the DaftWorks concept, it was always one of the things that I was quite keen on pushing for that kind of stuff. What have I 3D printed so far? I've printed a dice game with custom faces. I've enlarged a Lego gun model, so I think it's the DB17 or something like that. It's one of the ones that started getting packaged with the Star Wars Lego figures, and I think it was the original Han Solo gun. The Robo 3D. Yes, that's a good printer. Have a look online on YouTube for a guy called Barnacles. It's actually spelled Barnacules, so Barnacules, Cules. He has a Robo 3D printer, and he has some very good videos on 3D printing and how it works and how to get the best out of your 3D printer. And he has done some videos with the Robo 3D showing you how it works and what to do with it and so on. And just have a look at any tutorials you can find on how to make models that you can easily slice for doing on a 3D printer. But yeah, Barnacles is a very good chap for 3D stuff. He's very keen on 3D printing. He's been a proponent of it for a good couple of years, and yeah, he has about 4 3D printers now. He's just got a 3D printer that uses resin, clear resin. You know the stuff that you see when they're printing off body parts? It's one of those printers, and it uses a liquid medium base for what it prints, and it's the quality. You get transparent, high quality prints. They're very, very good. I'll try and hang on. Let me grab a URL, and I'll see if I can post it to you.
Hey, guys, want to see my computer?
There you go. So yeah, a lot of the stuff I've learned about 3D printing, including a really cool cheat for the print bed, because is stuff I've learned from him. He's very informative. He does a lot of mods for his printers. 3D printers are cool in the fact that you can use them to print off parts for themselves. And one of the little things that he did, which has helped me a lot, is blue masking tape. Apparently, if you put that on the print bed, then you don't actually have to heat the print bed, and you get very good adhesion from the plastic onto the sheet. The print bed that comes with my printer has a plate which is full of holes. There's little dot holes in it to let the heat through, to heat the plastic more efficiently. But what happens is, obviously, because you're dealing with liquid plastic here, your plastic leaks through the holes, so you get this kind of dimpled, dotty effect on one surface, which isn't very good if you've only got a little model and you need to do quite a lot of cleanup to sort it out. But what he showed me to do is use this blue masking tape over this print bed, which covers up all the holes, obviously, but also means that you don't have to heat the print bed, because your adhesion is very, very good on this tape, and it's very, very good. Very good tip. It also saves you a little bit of electricity, because you don't have to heat your print bed all the time. All you have to do is then heat your extruder nozzle, which is great stuff. I am wanting to do a lot more kind of stuff with the channel, but I'll come to that in a second. The next thing was sort of carrying on with the Fantasticon thing, was that obviously I'm going to be there to talk about 3D printing. I'm going to have the 3D printer there running and doing stuff. I'm going to take some stuff with me. As I say, I printed off the first multi-part model I've ever designed and made. On my printer. Took 16 hours to print it, if you include each part. Tried to hollow out a Corvette model to print, but it wasn't working. It's difficult, because as I was saying, the multi-part model I've done of this Lego gun, which I've blown up to 1:1 human scale, obviously to make it into a printable model I've had to hollow out the model, so basically slice it into bits, chop it up into quarters, and then hollow it out. And working out how to hollow out the mesh whilst keeping the lines and trying to make it as clean as possible to print is quite difficult. And you also then have to start worrying about things like infill and support material, in order to be able to get the model not to deform while it's printing out, because with something like a Corvette, that's very curvy. Or are you thinking, sorry, you're talking about the Corvette from Frontier, aren't you, from this game? The thing about 3D printers, right, and this is where you won't have to do a lot of work for it, is if you have a solid model, the slicing software will set what happens inside that model. If it's a solid 3D model, you won't be printing fully filled in plastic model kits. What you'll have, is something called the infill setting. Now you can set that in most print software to be anywhere between 0 and 100%. So if you only want to have the inside, if you want to have the inside of the model hollow completely, set that to 0%, and it won't have any interior material at all. It'll just have the surface, and it'll set it to be as thick as you want it to be. You can set that to be sort of 0.2mm to 2mm to whatever thickness you want it to be, and it'll do it to that level for you. It's inadvisable because you will have, obviously you're dealing with stretching plastic across a gap, and that can be quite problematic. But what you can do is, if you even set it to something like 25%, you'll find that there's enough infill material for 25% for it to hold up pretty much any surface. So there you go. You don't have to hollow out a model, basically. Well, that's the thing. The pro printing people seem not to do this percentage of infill thing. Shapeways, I believe, actually does have a setting somewhere that says how much do you want infill, how much do you want filled in. Either that or they make the decision themselves. I'm not entirely sure how it works. but I know from obviously what I know now that you can set that yourself. So if you've got your own printer, you can set whatever you want to have as your infill percentage, and it'll keep to that. Why am I not? That's a bit stupid. Never mind. I mean, 3D printing is quite... There's a lot more to it. I've discovered since getting my own 3D printer, there's a lot more to it than things like Shapeways would have you believe. It's not just a matter of send a model to the printer and it'll print. There are so many different settings that you have to tweak and play with in order to get the best quality out of it. For instance, PLA. I didn't know what the actual basic print temperature or the melting temperature for PLA was. I found out it was 220 degrees, but I was printing off at 160 degrees without any issues. It was melting it enough at 160 for me to be able to print something with it without any issues. It was a little bit grainy on the edges, and I think the resolution wasn't as great, and that was because obviously it maybe wasn't melted far enough. But then coming up to putting it to 220, it's improved the quality a lot. And I'm actually wondering, for some of the models that I'm doing, because obviously I'm printing off dice which are 6-sided. There's a bottom face and a top face, and the bottom face seems to sink a little bit, and I'm actually wondering if I don't increase the temperature that much, if I make it 200 or 180 degrees, then it is possible, entirely possible, that I may be able to stop that slippage at the bottom. So this is what I mean, the tweaking that's there for you to get your model to print out properly is very, very possible to do. You've also got support material that you can create to go in, which will support, like a little bridge, like bridge legs, will support the bits that you're trying to print off that are on a slope, which makes it much easier to print off as well. So it's good shit, man. It's good shit. It's great stuff, 3D printing. So versatile, so customizable. And a lot of fun to do, and it's very satisfying to have something on your PC looking at you on a screen, and then just click on a button and you can actually create that thing. And this is what I mean, I've got things that I've printed off that I've created myself that I think are absolutely amazing, that I've essentially designed myself. Oh, I've buggered up my tracking. I'm going to have to recenter my tracker now, hang on. Into pro printing, most just need to unbox it and I will go, definitely do it, mate. It's a lot of fun, and the more you get the hang of it, the more you'll find you can tweak it to your own needs, and the more you can, once you understand your own printer, you can make your printer sing and dance. I mean, the first print offs that I did on this printer were fairly low tech and fairly average, but the more I've played with it, the more I understand its settings and how to calibrate it properly and how to make sure that I get the right settings for the right model. The more I understand about it, then the better the models are. And I'm hoping that by the time I get the final version of this stuff, isn't that the second time you've said that, Alien? I will usually come saying hello to people once I finish a particular conversation, Alien, but as soon as you've interrupted again, hello! I'm fine, thank you, how are you? Yeah, so as I was saying, you can make it sing and dance. It's great stuff. Internet died in front of the docking Colonia Dream. Had to reboot the... Oh my god. Caramba95, hello. Good evening and welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. Glad you could join us. How are you doing, mate? Yeah, again, as I said, Alien, I was busy talking about something else. I did notice you'd said hello, and I was just wanting to finish off where I was. Okay, that covers that. So yes, that's what I'm going to be doing at Fantasticon then, is I'm going to be taking the 3D printer and trialling that there and just introducing people to that. So if any of you are going to be there, then feel free to pop over if you're interested, have a chat, and I'll tell you what I know. I am meaning to get in touch with Eagle Moss and the people that made the printer and to see if there's anything they want me to say or do while I'm there advertising their stuff. But again, I just haven't got around to doing that yet. I'm hoping that I can not so much tap them for goods and stuff, but tap them for information. And if there's anything they want me to push forward, they can even like send me some leaflets or something that would be I'd be able to give out that would advertise their product or something like that. Then, even if it's just from the guy that designed the printer to advertise his product, then I'm quite happy to do that. Because it was a very good deal. It is a very good printer, and it's a good magazine collection as well. And if they ever do it again, which I don't know if they will, given the change in marketing prices for 3D printers, then should be okay. I would say this station 20%. Oh, jeez, that was lucky, in a sense. Right, so that's everything explored here, I think. Right, I'll get back on track.
Four, 3, 2, 1.
That's nice, Karumba. It's nice to run into people that aren't going to just shoot the shit out of you. I must admit. There's been a lot of talk recently. I've seen a couple of things on Facebook this week about people saying that we should have only open play should affect community goals and stuff like that, which I don't think I agree with. But then I'm a Mobius forum dad, so of course
Fuel scooping.
I am going to say that kind of thing, aren't I? 'Cause I'm biased. I want to have the easy ride apparently through the game. Keep forgetting I've remapped my commands, haven't I? 8
Fuel
new.
scooping complete.
Open system map.
System cartography.
What have we got? That looks like boring shit to me. Closed system map.
Closing map.
Yeah, meeting like-minded players at random, that is great.
Fuel
It's one thing I
scoop
do
disengaged.
kind of regret about not playing in open, is that you don't get to meet the nicer players and talk to the nicer players, but there's just so many dicks out there, and I just haven't got the patience for it. And I know it's me being my point of view and me being controversial possibly about the way this game's played, and a lot of people won't agree with that. But as far as I'm concerned, everybody has their own way of playing. Blaze your own trail, as they say. That's it, Karumba. That's exactly it. You play the game the way that you want to play it, and more importantly, play the game the way that you have to play it. If you can't play in open, or you can't play with all these kiddies out there who just want to blow everything up and act like wankers and destroy the work you're trying to do because they feel that wanting to attack you for no apparent reason, rather than having a kind of story idea reason, I just don't have the patience. Honestly, don't have the patience. Engage jump drive.
Jumping.
I mean, I don't play in solo. I play in a group. So I play in a mode that if people want to join me, if they want to befriend me and become somebody who I fly within my group, then I'm more than happy to do that. I'm more than happy to take a risk as well and sign up people to my group who I don't know. If they then become wankers, then it's easy enough just to block them from my group and play with the people that I like. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm using the private groups for what they were designed for, which is giving you an alternative method of play, where you can be selective. Open system map.
System cartography.
Closed system map.
Exiting map.
Engage jump drive.
Jump.
You're not in my group, why not?
Four, three, two, one. Engage.
Some players didn't grief gank wanting to kill the players, then yes, you could say there's a case for one play mode. It's your POV selling. I was playing open and rarely I'm ganked most at CGs. No, you're enjoying the game, wrong, stop having fun, that's all wrong. Yeah, that's kind of the impression I get from these people. I think the wider the fan base gets, the more that kind of thing seems to get said, which is a bit sad, really. Everyone's got their own way of playing a game. Just because multiplayer's there, doesn't mean to say that I have to play it. If I don't want to play it, I won't fucking play it. Play the way you want to play, so I play Selezen. It's playable. Hey, I'm not in your group. Blackballing Mobius forum dad you. Yeah, it's fine. You accepted my invitation, that is what I call a risk. Yep, fair enough. Agree, Selezen. 90% of my play is open. I've been thoroughly tired on a couple of occasions. I'll play most CG and open use private groups as well when I want an easy life. Yeah, fair enough. I have playing open, I have an attraction to arseholes. Just look at my friends list. Yep, that's yeah, well, I'm there for a start, mate, so that's fine. I had a wonderful example a few weeks back. Saw a Viper heading to the same outpost, said hello, got back a full caps, oh my god, finally another player reply. Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's the part of the open play experience that I would love. And that's what I lose by making the choices that I've made. And that's the thing, it's not just a matter of the negatives for open play. There are loads and loads of positives for open play as well. Open system map.
System map.
And by making the choice that I've made, I'm sacrificing that experience in order to have one side of the game be the way I want it to be. I have to make that choice. I don't want everyone to agree with that choice. I wouldn't expect everyone to agree with that choice. But I make it for the reasons I make it. Positives and negatives, swings and roundabouts, whatever, you know. Closed system map.
Leaving map.
Engage jump drive.
Preparing for jump.
I had one, for example, a few weeks back, saw a Viper heading to the same outpost. I don't know, it was alright. Lol. What was the other thing? I was saying a couple of things at the start of the stream there about stuff, and I was going to go back to it.
Engage.
If anyone can remember what the two subjects that I was kind of getting sidetracked onto while I was trying to talk about Fantasticon, then please tell me what they were, and I'll carry on. I think one of them was talking about the change. That was it. Changes to the stream and the channel. The new layout has been prompted by me not being overly happy with the intros that I did for the stream, because I used an open source bit of software for that, which was not particularly great. Thank you, Evil Laverick. Thank you for the ban, Robert. Yeah, I'm glad you like it, Psycho Cow. As I say, I went through a bit of a graphic phase, and I just wanted to stick more stuff in there, and you were top of the list, actually. Top of the list to go in there, because obviously your thing starts with an A, so... but yeah, it came about because I was using an open source bit of software, or a free bit of software, and it wasn't particularly great, and its encoding wasn't fantastic, and everything came out really grainy. And as I was watching it, although it was the graininess did add to the wait a minute. The graininess added to the
Selecting Wingman 1.
the feel of that particular style, but I was never happy with it. Plus which, I then went and purchased some video editing software, some proper software, which doesn't do the same things. So I wanted to make sure that I had something I could repeat. And if I was going to start making videos for a different game, or doing Twitch streams for a different game, then I had the facilities there to be able to do that. Plus, another sub-clause. One of the things about those intro videos is that they're specific to a certain game. And now I'm trying to do a lot of different things with this with the YouTube channel as well at the moment, such as branching out into doing reviews and unboxings and that kind of stuff. Open system map.
System map.
Rather than just Twitch stuff. In order to do that, I need like a standard basic intro and a basic outro that will let me
Fuel scoop
just
complete.
compile a video and then stick an intro on it and then carry on, without having to recompile a new video every time I do a different game or a different subject or a different stream, and then have an intergraphic after the intro video that then shows what this video is about. So that's where this kind of restyle started, and I thought, rather than there was no way I could maintain the original filter, because the original filter for doing the kind of rolling screen and TV thing didn't exist in this new software. Closed system map.
Leaving map.
So I had to make a decision as to whether to go with a totally new look or try and recreate that by using the various different filters, reading a lot of internet stuff and then trying to get it from there. I ended up going for the quick way, because essentially, I don't know, Bifford, it might just be you. It's you. Jump. Nope, don't have that as an option. Engage jump drive.
Jumping to light speed.
Four, three, two,
Oh, sorry, I had to have a drink.
engage.
So yeah, basically as I was saying, so the way I've gone is the sort of old school green screen, sort of green computer terminal screen look. Some scan lines on there and some filtering and some lovely green graphics, and I'm quite happy with it. The intro that you'll see on the front of the Twitch stream is the same intro that I'm going to have for everything. So any YouTube videos that I do with unboxings or reviews or 3D printer stuff, or even just offline gameplay. I did try and record a session of Metro 2033, recording it locally and then putting it up on YouTube later, but then discovered that I'd made a bit of a mistake, in that I'd forgotten to switch off one of the test windows, so I had this big folder window open the entire way through the video, so that was a bit of a waste of time. But hey ho, live and learn. I make the mistakes. I make the mistakes so you guys can laugh. Right, I keep forgetting to do this feeling thing 'cause I'm busy talking to you guys.
Fuel scooping.
I'm liking the new suns, by the way. They seem a bit more vibrant, much brighter, and the corona is much detailed on there. That looks lovely. Lovely. Spooky a lot. Oh, there it comes. Spooky a lot. Thank you for the follow.
Complete.
I'm glad you're enjoying the channel. You haven't thus far spoke. Oh no!
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Those of you who missed... okay. Yes, well hang on then. I'll just head off towards this planet and I'll pop the intro video on for you. Just so you can have a shufty. That's not the intro video. I'll do it as a separate video feed because I've obviously got the thing there. Just let me do that as a separate video. Pop that on. Okay. Nope, that's not right. Remove. Yes. the sound off there as well, so you can hear it properly, and I'll do it properly this time. Video, paste. Did it. 190.
Reverse thrusters 75%. 25% thrusters.
Done. There you go. Forgot to archive this stream and lost all of. Oh no! Oh, God's sake! That's not great. Not great at all. That's sad to hear, Psycho Cow. That's bad. Oh no. I'm probably just making you feel worse by saying this. Sorry. So, spooky look, great stuff. Thank you. Caramba, loving the sun's part from when I belly flop into them, not paying attention. Yeah, it's very easy. This is what I've been worried about with booting up the new version, because I've not really played the intergalactic version of this game. I've been doing some of the sort of home system stuff, and I think during the entire beta, I don't think I ever came out of Shinarted Ezra. So that's been a bit of a pain in the backside. Engage jump drive.
Engaging jump drive.
So I'm now seeing a lot more. I'm just worried that I'm going to look at stuff, forget what I'm doing, go wow into a planet or something. I do feel that when I was taken off at the start of the stream, that the planet seemed a little more vibrant and a lot brighter, and the space, like the galactic curve there, seems to be a lot more vibrant as well. So lots of great changes. Audio's there. Oh, that's fine. At least you got something.
Verity. Why don't you explain?
Of course, sir. A limb, the outer edge or border of a planet or other celestial body.
Fascinating.
Bifford. Selezen. I tried updating my Steam copy of ED to Guardians and it won't update on there with a similar error to the normal install of ED. Oh my god. And what have Frontier said to Bifford? Because you've mentioned this a few times on stream, and I don't actually know what the problem is, Biff. I mean, this is I think the 4th or 5th time you've mentioned it. I don't know. The only thing I can suggest is don't use the Steam one. Uninstall the Steam one completely. Go with the actual purchased copy and try that. Unless your license is only on Steam now. In which case, if you have to stay with Steam, then you're going to have to try and sort it out. That could either be through getting in touch with Steam, removing your Steam copy completely, then reinstalling it from Steam, and if that still doesn't work, you're going to have to raise a ticket and sort it out with Frontier, because only they're going to know what your problem is. And if that means going onto the forum and posting it on that nightmare of a place, then you're going to have to do it, I'm afraid. Because honestly, I don't know. I've never had any issues with any of the versions so far. The only thing I can possibly say is it could be a graphics card incompatibility because of the new way that they're doing the planetary systems and the new way that they're doing some of the rendering, and the procedural generation may have kicked your particular graphics card's capabilities out of the water. I don't know. I don't know. I wish I did. Honestly, wish I did. Wish I could help you. Open system map.
System cartography.
Elaborate looks good. Likes. Oh, the intro. Yeah, I hope so. Yay. Like the intro screen, very nice. Thank you very much. Amazing on the day. Vibrancy has been upped in a good way. I will say that drinking and exploring don't mix well. They haven't replied to my ticket. Just keep pushing them then. Keep pushing them on the forum. Get in touch with Ed or get in touch with somebody at the community side of it and say, look, I've raised a ticket, no one's got back to me, can you tell me what I need to do to try and get it sorted out? Or just go on the forum to the tech support area and see if anybody on there can answer your question. That's the only resources I can think of. Reddit maybe? Facebook? Closed system map.
Closing map.
Use some of the groups on Facebook, see if they can maybe tell you something. There's a lot of technical people out there, but the sad thing is, I mean, although I know some technical stuff about Windows, I've never had these issues with Elite, so I couldn't tell you what the issues would be to try and even sort them. Try re-verifying your... There you go, spooky a lot. Try re-verifying your Steam files. Alien, good point, yep. Steam forums, maybe? Because there's bound to be an Elite Dangerous forum on Steam, isn't there? Engage jump drive.
Engaging jump.
Try via Twitter. Yeah, Frontier support by Twitter are supposed to be good.
Four, three, two, one. Engage.
Whee! Yeah, so as I was saying, while I was in the process of doing the videos and so on, I decided that if I'm going to go for the green theme for the videos, for the intro and outro videos, then it makes sense to try and change the rest of the theme as well. So I have done some
Fuel scooping complete.
revamping of the graphics as it is on the moment, at the
Fuel
moment,
scoop disengaged.
and I've got open system map.
System cartography.
Nope. Close system map.
Exiting map.
Engage jump drive. Engage jump drive.
Jumping to light speed.
Four, three, two, one. Engage.
Yeah, so while I was doing the sort of main background image, which is where you can see the sort of green screening with the glows and stuff, that's set up certain areas, and simplified the graphic layout quite a lot, because I had made it very complicated with separate backgrounds and separate borders rather than just having one thing. And the scrolling message was a pain in the bloody arse. That was the biggest problem I ever had, because OBS and its text scrolling aren't particularly great. So anytime you change what was in there, it would change the size and change the resolution, and oh, it's just a nightmare. So I've got rid of that,
Fuel scooping.
and I'm glad I have. So while I was at it, changed the amount of rotating adverts down to one block, which is all it needs really.
Fuel scooping complete.
And the other panel is now where the chatty window lives, but I've now got a lot of real estate on the right side of the screen that isn't used for anything, so I've still to work out what to do with that. I'm thinking possibly either bigger banner ads or links to not so much links, but advertising for different things that I am, like my Twitch stream. No, sorry, that's what I'm using. My YouTube channel, perhaps. A picture from Twitter or something to sort of identify myself on Facebook and Twitter, that kind of thing, I don't know. And it's also somewhere that in the future, if I do get some kind of sponsorship or some kind of backing from someone, then I can put a link there that says this is who sponsors the channel, that kind of thing. So but I think mainly it's going to have things on there about what's happening on YouTube. So when I do get more time to focus on getting the reviews and stuff sorted out, open system map,
System map.
the reviews and the unboxings and the builds and that kind of stuff sorted out, then I can link to that kind of stuff on there, or highlight that stuff on there. And that's the plan. So it's a bit more. It also has a slightly bigger game window. So rather than being 1600 by 900, it's now 1707 by something else. So it's not a particularly standard resolution, unfortunately. The last two updates to properly deinstall Horizons and Cargo Nightmares to update took about 20 attempts, kept getting to percent and failing. Finally, so I could run the game and crash out when the game had loaded. So it started with Horizons as well. Did you have the same? Was this when 2.0 came out, or when you did the last two updates? You're looking at 2.1 and 2.2, which would be Engineers and Guardians. Would that be right, or is this right from version 2? Close system map.
Exiting map.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Up next stream and previously on. I think up next stream, I think that's, given the fact that at the moment I only really have one stream that I do, which is the Monday night stream. I think a previously on is going to be same thing. Yay. Engage jump drive.
Engaging.
But
jump
yeah,
drive.
when I think maybe a last YouTube video, have you seen this, or a couple of rotating things possibly, but again I'm looking for something that's easy maintenance, whether it be just something in text or
4, 3,
a screenshot from something. If I could even just get like an image that I could put in a location, like a YouTube thumbnail or something that I could put in a location, but I don't know what the right plugin would be for OBS with that. I'm also midway through transitioning between OBS and OBS Suite, because apparently OBS is now retired and it's all moving over to OBS Suite, and I'm halfway through configuring that. I've got all the settings and stuff done and ready to run. I just haven't got the scenes all set up properly. So obviously you can't export them. That would make far too much sense.
fuel scooping.
Being able to export what you've got in the original OBS and then import it into OBS Studio would be far too simple. Open system map.
System cartography.
Fuel scooping complete.
That's all gas gianty and boring again. It's not looking good. Close system map. Close system map.
Leaving map.
Didn't try to close about 1 went in 2.2 and that didn't work with 2.1, that failed too. 2.0 worked fine. Okay, let's think then. 2.0 worked fine. So what was introduced in 2.1 that made it so different? 2.0 was where it introduced planetary landings and the new shader models. So the shaders were all updated come 2. The only thing that was updated in 2.1 was the addition of the new engineer bases, so the custom builds for the bases there as well. The update itself fails. It's nothing to do with actually running the game. You occasionally get the failure of the actual update, and then you get failure actually within the game itself. It could be something as simple as a texture load fail. Like a critical texture that's trying to load in is not loading in properly, and whether it's something that's corrupted on the way in or it's something that isn't handled by your graphics card, which doesn't necessarily have a reflection on how good the graphics card is. It's just what the graphics card supports and doesn't support in terms of specific shader information. So if there's even a function on your graphics card that's maybe disabled, that may be failing it through, or as someone said, something to do with the actual hardware itself. So it could be a memory issue, so a bad bit in your memory, a bad sector on your hard drive. Have you tried, do you have a partitioned hard drive, or do you just have the one main partition for your drives? Because if you have a partition or a secondary drive you can install to, then it might be worth trying to install to a different drive and see if that solves your problem. Do I fancy any other RPG games to play at Fantasticon? To be honest, I don't at the moment. If I'm being overly honest at the moment, because my head is so much into the Elite RPG just now, and one other project that I've got going in my head and on paper at the moment that I'm trying to think about, I haven't got enough space in my head to keep track of what I'm doing, and I don't want to start getting into another RPG just now until I get this elite stuff out of my head completely. Because it has been traumatic, to say the least. Engage jump drive. Engage jump drive.
Preparing for jump.
And I don't know. If somebody would offer to run a game that I can play in, I would be very interested, to be honest. But running a game at the moment, I don't have the mental fortitude to do it just now. My creative juices have gone kind of run out the bottom somewhere. There's a big hole in me. So you do have other drives to install to. Can you uninstall it completely then reinstall it to a different location?
Fuel scooping.
This is the thing about Elite actually, is it doesn't let you install to a specific place. This is where the Steam version comes in, actually is better than the main one, because it lets you at least pick where you're going to install it to.
Fuel scooping complete.
Four hard drives. Yeah, just see if you can stick it on a different drive. Whatever drive it is you choose to install it to, make sure that you've kind of defragged and cleaned it up, so that it's in as good condition as possible, so that when it installs its files, at least it'll be a consistent location. Give that a try, see what happens. That'll at least then, if it doesn't solve the problem, it'll at least take the hard drive situation out of the equation. Do you see? I've always actually bollocks. subtle China's geek. Subtle. Thank you for that. It's good to know that someone's always going to call me out on talking bollocks, isn't it? I've never seen the options for how to change the drive, because when I installed it in the first place, it didn't give me the option. The launcher came up, or the installer came up, says, "Do you want to install it?" I said yes. It didn't really let me know where. And then it scattered files to the four winds. I've got things in my roaming profile area, I've got things in my user area, I've got things in program files on the C drive, and I've got things in program files on the D drive. Which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Don't like it when things say they're going to install shit to my user area either, because I don't want things in there. I want everything on a separate drive. My boot drive to me is my boot drive. If that fucks up, I want to know that everything else I've got, save games, customizations, config files, are all going to be in a place where I can get them back. And I don't have to then go through the rigmarole of having to try and back up files or use a separate boot drive and then plug the drive in on a separate port and grab everything off like that. Whereas Elite didn't give me the choice. Engage jump drive.
Jumping.
The options in launcher installer, clear and plain. Okay, well, I've not seen it. Whether or not, see what it might be is it might be an artifact of being part of the beta and the alpha when they came out. Is the alpha installer may not have having an option to where to install to, and because it's now installed and I haven't uninstalled it since, I've never had the option to install it to a separate location. So maybe if I uninstalled it completely, got rid of it from scratch and started again with the new launcher, it might give me the option to install it to a certain place. Because I've only ever updated after version 0.01 or whatever it was. So, yeah, it's not bollocks.
Fuel scooping.
My experience may be slightly different to yours. Open system map.
System map.
Fuel scooping complete.
Oh no. Close system map.
Closing map.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Jump. Fuck's sake. Engage jump drive.
Engaging jump.
Four, three, two, one.
Tell it with assault, which was not about in the early days of ED beta. Well, I'm sure if there was, I missed it. Obviously, it wasn't something that was plainly obvious on screen, so I'm standing by my memories of it. I'm not senile yet. Mine is not on the boot drive. Well, again, even if it's not on the boot drive, it's maybe worth moving from one drive to another. Just see if it is a hard drive issue that's causing you a problem. It's up to you though. Open system map.
System cartography.
Fuel scooping complete.
Close system map.
Leaving map.
Jump scoop, jump scoop, jump scoop, jump scoop.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Jump. Engage jump drive.
Jump.
Reaper, Ripper, Reaper. R3 pair.
Three, two,
Thank you for the host.
one. Engage. Fuel scooping.
Reaper, thank you. It's not overly obvious. Hey DJ Tarjan, how are you doing? And hello to you Reaper, how are you doing as well? Sun and a planet. Open system map.
System map.
There's a
Fuel
gas
scooping
giant.
complete.
Close system map.
Exiting map.
How are you both doing? Caleb Dark's around! Hello!
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Good to see you. Hey, you guys on there that are giving Bifford some help, thank you guys, appreciate it. I know Bifford probably does as well, but I certainly do appreciate it, and this is one of the reasons why I like doing things like streaming, because if anybody has a problem, then people in the chat can often sort it out for you. This is pretty big for me, quite appreciative of that, guys. Engage jump drive.
Engaging jump.
Four, three, two, one. Engage.
I think from the sound of it, Biff, given that most of the mainstream stuff that you've tried doesn't seem to have worked, I think you're maybe going to have to look at some of the more hackery things to do. Either that or just keep pushing Frontier for a response to your query.
Fuel scooping
Been trolling a lot of streamers. It's fine. That's probably one of the best things anybody could do. Because anybody who pops in, signs up, follows, gets notifications, and then goes and spreads the word. That's meat and veg for us streamers. We need people to do that. We need people to go out there and put the word out that we're around. I've done this already. Still, I'll do it again. Open system map.
System map.
No bag of shit again. Close system map.
Closing map.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
No, China's Gate. Look, this is called brainstorming. If you have a thought or you have an idea that you might have something that can help, by all means stick it out there. That goes for any of you, no matter how ridiculous it might sound. There are no wrong questions, and there's quite a few wrong answers. But trying to help is never a bad thing, even if China's Geek says bollocks to you because you tried to suggest something. La, la, la. Marvin Darkstone, hello. Welcome to the stream. Not seen you for a while, I don't think. Engage jump drive.
Engaging jump drive.
Frugal with bollocks.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
This is one of the things that you see. Caleb, I think it's going to be a bit of an arsehole for Bifford to just go over the whole damn thing again. But it's up to Bifford if he wants to. I think maybe if you post that error message you had, Bifford, just again for the guys that have just joined in, see if they've got any ideas. Fantasticon! Woo! What's the point? I'm not seeing the Nightbot messages come up for a while. Have a broken Nightbot?
Fuel scooping.
Open system map.
System cartography.
Ticket system is weird. Yeah, one of the things Frontier have commonly said at every convention we've been to and every time they've actually spoke about something live is that if you want faster service, then the ticket system's not particularly great. They actually recommend themselves posting on the forums, because the forums have more people there that can answer the questions and have more people who are around more of the time, whereas the ticket system is completely inundated with people with technical queries and gameplay queries and all that kind of stuff, and it takes them ages to get around to it. So I would highly recommend whatever you've posted on the tickets, post it on the forum as well, but make sure you find the right place on the forum to post it. I told the people in Reaper stream you know a lot about the lore in game. Cool, yeah. I would say that I do. The current lore, like ongoing events that are carrying on at the moment, not so much. I'm keeping very, very vaguely aware of it, but it's more history. The history of the game, the history of the game universe. I know a fair amount about, so yay. If they have lore questions, yeah, anybody's welcome to ask me a question. I'll always answer a lore question. It might be bollocks, of course. China's Gate would probably attest to that. So, la la la. Closed system map.
Leaving map.
And oh, that's a lot of planets.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Engage jump drive.
Jumping to light speed.
Four, three, two, one. Engage.
Never gonna live that down. Nope. Not if I can remember it. As long as I can remember it, it'll be said. So let's face it, it's probably going to be this stream and I'll never remember it again in a week's time.
Fuel scooping.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Caleb. I quite like it myself. I like it better than the gold one. The gold one was just too busy
Fuel
and had far too many components. Because each little box that's on the screen now is only part of a main background image now. Whereas in the last one, the gold one, every single box was a separate entity, and it was made up of 3 separate things. There was the background element, the border element that went on the top layer, and then the content element, which was either an image or a scrolling text thing. And it was hellish to maintain, and didn't work very well, to be honest. But thank you anyway. Submitting an article for Garnet. Cool. I hope it gets published, Alien. That would be great. Keep thinking about doing that myself, but you know they won't publish my book, so why are they going to publish a fucking Galnet article? La 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 la. Oh, that was bitchy. Jesus, even for me that was bitchy. Engage jump drive.
Jump.
Just run away from that one.
Ready to engage. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Fuel scooping.
All sons.
Verity, would you explain that for the commander?
Fuel scooping complete.
A natural satellite or moon is a celestial body that orbits another body.
Fuel scoop
She knows about all
disengaged.
of the 88 constellations and much more.
Been a lot of jump scoop this evening, isn't it? Engage jump drive.
Engaging jump.
I think the Murphy's not better. Not much, no. To be honest, Lemons take one look at me and go, wow, he's better.
3, 2, 1. Engage.
Submit an article as a disclaimer the alien crash site and all sites have crashed. Oh, but it has a sense of humour, Alien, therefore it's probably not going to fit in with Frontier's point of view. Nope, again. Fuck's sake. Bitter, twisted, evil. Evil Dave's out to play tonight, I'm afraid.
Fuel
I'm going to pack him back in his box, along with Gianna's bollocks. Then I do Windows before removing stuff completely, then reinstalling it usually works.
Fuel scooping complete.
Sun, and is that a planet? Open system map.
System map.
Oh look, a little planet, all on its own. Oh, wish I
Fuel
told you,
scoop
would you?
disengaged.
Oh, but you're a boring planet, so I'm not going to come and see you. Close system map.
Closing map.
Engage jump drive.
Preparing for jump.
Four, three, two, one. Engage.
Command Bifford just came online. Has Bifford actually got it to boot? They usually say, Bifford, that with Windows especially, every 2 years you should do a reinstall. Just to clear out all the old files and archived crap and
Fuel scooping.
archived updates that can take about 100 gig worth of bloody space sometimes. What's your commander name, Selezen? I'll give you a guess. Is it not on my screen anywhere? No, it's not, is it? It's a bugger. Open system map. It's
System
Selezen
cartography.
Lake. Selezen Lake.
Fuel scooping complete.
Oh my god. Selezen Lake. I should put that on the screen, shouldn't I? That would work well as something to put on the screen. Okay, so what do we have? We have potential things here. Okay, we can maybe have a bit of an explore of that. That doesn't look like it's too bad. Closed system map.
Exiting map.
Go on, let's have a wander around this system then. Weep. New friend request from Commander Karumba. Open comms.
Communication.
Doot doot. Doot doot. Now
Decreasing
friends with
sensor
Commander
range.
Karumba. Close comms.
Comms closed.
Do you know about the sounds the planets make on system map? Yes, I did. When you've got it on night mode sound, apparently you can hear various different things. Like a water world you can hear sloshing about, and on Earth worlds you can hear birds chirping or something like that. But I've never been able to make that work properly. I don't know if my hearing's a bit funny, but I've never been able to really differentiate between the two. Is that right? Is that true? I actually thought they'd taken that feature out. Because the theory was that that was only really a feature that was there initially, so they could actually allow people to go and check these things out for themselves. I could be wrong. As Chansgate would tell you, I talk a lot of bollocks, so I could be wrong. You've got a link for the
Fuel
sounds.
scoop disengaged.
Well, go on then, send me the link. Right, fair enough then. Open system map.
System map.
Right, so I've got a few different ones. So if I skip out and just engage night mode, just make sure that's on. Audio. So we're on night time, or is it full range? So night time is for low volumes without losing the quieter details. Okay. So sound effects, let's put that up a little. Open system map.
System cartography. Full range. Full range, all sounds on. Open system map. System cartography. Not hearing anything. Open system map. System map.
can't hear anything different at all. Total stellar cartographies as well. Open system map.
System map.
Yeah, I can hear the subtle differences. There's not a lot between them, to be honest, but yeah, there is differences. I'd need to sit and try and learn what they all are then. That's a high metal content. So that would be breezy and airy sound with echoing noise resembling playing bass tones on a pan flute, perhaps? So they're all the same thing, which is why everything sounds the same. That could be a type 2. That could be a type 3, because eerie, windy and desolate sounds. Okay, right, now I've got the sound set up so I can hear it. That might be quite handy for the future. So, okay. Right, cool. Thank you for that, DJ Tarj. Yeah, I think I've got the hang of that. So everything sounds similar because these are all similar types of world. So we'll go through and we'll see what they all are, and they're all probably going to be metal, and then we'll know that we're right. So that's cool. But now that I'm here, puddling around, I'll puddle around for the rest of it. Closed system map.
Closing map.
Only thing is now the volume's fucking horrendously loud. Right, next planet. Get a bit of lag on the frame rate there, I think. Well, this is the thing, DJ Taj. I mean, I've been playing this game now for near nigh, 3 years now? 3 and a bit years? From the alpha. And I don't even pretend that I know everything about it. I've played a very, very limited aspect of this game. I like the exploration, but I don't know anything more. As I say, I was completely convinced that the sounds for the different systems had been taken out. The sounds for different planets had been taken out. Because I don't keep up with the online stuff, I don't keep up with Galnet, I don't keep up with most of the stuff that comes out in the sort of forums and online and Facebook, stuff like that. The only thing I really kind of keep my hand in with is the newsletters, but the newsletters tell you bugger all. They're just basically advertising for community goals and the occasional thing that might be going on in the community that involves Frontier itself, but not anything that the community itself is doing, which is a bit of an arse. But then, hey, not bitter. And being a pirate in the game, I need to know where stuff spawns. Whoa. No, see, I was on the forums for a long while, like during the first year of my RPG type stuff, but I find it difficult to keep up with forums long term. My attention span wavers from them because especially something the size of the Frontier ones. When it was in the early days before it went commercial, before the whole game went commercial, it was an okay size and it was okay to deal with because you had the design decision forum and you had the various different development stuff that was going on, and it was easy to keep track of. And as the game came out and as the fan base expanded and as the player group expanded, it got busier and busier and busier, and before you knew it, you're reading one page of posts, and in the time that you've read that one page of posts, 4 more pages have been written, and I can't keep up with that stuff, and that's just for one forum. And then when you're looking at trying to keep up with the entire collection of forums, it just can't be done. And I was finding that I was spending 2, 3, 4 hours a day trying to get through the forum post to learn what I needed to learn and find out what I needed to find out, but having to page through pages and pages and pages of shit to get to the stuff that I needed to know, and I just didn't have the time anymore. So from that point I've kind of gone away from the forums and not really drifted back, because as far as I'm concerned it's got a lot worse. So it's difficult. I probably would have, but I probably would have Alien, sorry. But that was, call me wrong or call me right, but I was an Elite fanboy rather than Elite fanboy at that point in time, because Elite was the only active thing that was happening. The Frontier forums weren't really doing much. The Elite forums were actually actively developing a game, and that was more where my interest lay, seeing the development and seeing the evolution of that game into what it is now, which is a very, very impressive game. Yeah, I would echo that, Spooky, a lot. I try and be as informative as I can be when I'm on stream. Any information I've got that I can give you guys, I will do. But I've always found, and one of the main reasons that I love streaming and I like the whole streaming concept, is that it's the guys in the chat that carry it. The guys in the chat that push everything and give all the information out and do what needs and say what needs to get said and provide all the help you can get. And that's why I think that the Twitch idea and the YouTube gaming idea and all this live streaming and watching people playing games, which is one way that people put it, is really, really worth the time. It's worth the effort. And as I say, if it wasn't for the interaction on the chat, then I don't think streaming would be anywhere near as enjoyable as it is. So to all of you guys who are watching, all of you guys who pop in the stream, maybe even you people who are watching this on YouTube because you missed the stream or you're thinking about watching, thank you. Honestly, from all of us streamers, thank you very much.
You
How perfect was that? I wouldn't go that far, Alien. I mean, I wouldn't say Elite's forum hasn't got any smaller since Elite came out. It's still active, it's still out there, it's still developing, it's still moving on, but it's moving on in its own direction. It's a completely separate universe. It inhabits a completely separate universe to Elite Dangerous. It carries the Elite concept on in a far more true sense than Elite Dangerous ever has, and Frontier Developments itself took it in one direction. David Braben took it in one direction. Elite, all they really based it on was what the original Elite was, and Giles and the people that kind of came onto there and carried Elite forward did a very, very good job of carrying that concept on its own forward. So, yep, see you, Laverick. Thank you for popping on. Good night to you, mate, and take care. Hee hee. Hello, planet. Elite Dangerous is more a reboot. That's an interesting concept, DJ Tarzan. Very interesting concept. Elite continues the story from First Encounters. No, that's what I'm saying. Elite does not continue the story from anything other than Elite, the first game from the 1980s. If you want a perspective, my timeline and the official Elite timeline say that original Elite was 3125 or thereabouts, 2135-ish, was when Commander Jameson, he says in inverted commas, started his quest to become Elite. Elite is canonically in its own universe set in 3143. So it kind of hits the gap sort of where Galcop still exists but was in decline. The Federation and the Empire still exist, but they're not featured in the game because they're part of a separate area. And some of the expansions for Elite have actually put Federation and Empire ships into the game to show that it does exist somewhere out there. And we have, and there has been an accepted canon that essentially Galcop and its member worlds were exiled from membership in the Federation community and the Imperial community for various different crimes and various differences of opinion and philosophy that made them incompatible with each other, so that they do coexist, so that the universe of Frontier is out there somewhere, but it's not accessible from within Elite. So it's set between Elite and Frontier Elite 2. But ultimately is primarily set in the same kind of era as Elite. So there you go. In theory, Elite and the Elite Universe, as it stands for Frontier Developments, are compatible. Elite without any expansions, which carries on basically the Elite philosophy and can fit into the same kind of way, would fit in with the lore. But obviously, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as the Elite community itself is concerned, it's a separate parallel universe type thing, where all the stuff that has been excised from the Elite universe in terms of the Frontier version of it, like the alien races and the wormholes and the galactic hyperdrive and all that kind of stuff, have all been retconned out as far as Frontier and Elite Dangerous is concerned. They exist and will carry on through the Elite universe. Yeah, that's the big thing in the last few months, lore-wise, has been Frontier's announcement over the last few months that what everyone considered to be the canonical ending of First Encounters, which was the... Have I done a loop of shame? Have I loop of shamed? No, I haven't. I got away with it. Haha! Which was the Argent Incorporated pioneered a mission to contact the Thargoids and bring them into the galactic community. Didn't happen. Instead, the way that went was that we decided to go and fuck them over again. So the Thargoids ended up hating us even more, rather than actually having a tentative kind of peace for a while and then vanishing. We essentially fucked them over completely again and kicked them in the ass, and that's why we haven't seen them for the last 100 years, whatever, 50 years. That's been sort of the most significant thing. And it does say that, it does obviously mean that Frontier themselves have reserved that right to change even what has been considered to be canonical in the previous games up until this point. Because when we wrote the lore and background documentation for the authors, that was the kind of the basis that we had. But obviously Frontier reserved the right to change the stuff as they see fit and as fits their vision for the game. So that's fair enough. We have to accept that. I don't personally like that concept. I think it's made it a slightly less interesting universe, but it's made it a more combative and potentially hostile universe at the end of the day, which is fair enough. These things happen. If that's the way they want to take it, then that's fine. Spooky, a lot of me to run. Loved it, Sel. Cheers for the chat and hope you're back soon. Awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it, mate. Please come back soon, anytime. Well, Monday nights, unless you want to watch a blank screen. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself, mate, and thank you for watching. Take care. Only one worked in the Frontier game, the good option where we made friends and helped the Thargoids. Yeah, that's it. Because as far as I'm concerned, when looking into the sort of background stuff for for Frontier First Encounters, when I was developing Elite Encounters, the canonical ending seemed to be the one that was generally accepted, because there was content in First Encounters that followed on from that end result. That was obviously the way they wanted you to go at that point, where you could have information and journals and stuff that took it forward. The alternative one, where the alternate evil ending didn't seem to have any journal entries that followed it up, and that's what I mean. I think that's why that decision from Frontier received as much hostility as it did on the forums and in the community, because they were essentially going back on what had been touted as being the canonical ending, because it was the supported ending. So, but hey, as I say, it's their universe. They do what they want to do with it, and we're just the fans. We just have to go along with it. A war is more easy to manage in game than peace. I'm not entirely sure I agree with that, actually. I actually looked forward to Elite Dangerous as it was advertised during the Kickstarter and during the initial phases of the alpha and the beta, as not only a game framework and not only a universe to play in, a sandbox to play in, but as a storytelling medium. Any multiplayer game or any game that has a degree of longevity to it has to have an element of storytelling. And rather than just having a one-dimensional hostile universe, which has been done to death, to be honest, with things like Star Wars and Warhammer 40k and all these different game universes where essentially combat's your main reason to live. You don't have the option to forge peace or forge diplomatic relationships with anyone or explore different concepts. I do think that having the Thargoids in there as a potential ally, or at least as a potential trade partner, or at least something you can forge a relationship with according to what you want to do, would have been awesome. And I'm quite sad that we're not going to get to go down that road and just find out what it would have been like to see humanity attempt to coexist with an alien race in the universe that they know absolutely fuck all about, and that are completely enigmatic, and essentially are based on probably a very different biology. How would we manage to, in-game, how would we manage to be able to do this kind of thing and maintain that relationship? Engage jump drive.
Engaging jump.
And how would we be able to develop it? And that in itself is a hell of a storyteller. Thank you for the follow, Ntip. How do you pronounce that? Is it? Am I right with that? Ntip. If that's the road M. Brooks wants to take this. That's it. Ultimately, we're fans. We can talk, chew the fat, have an opinion, all that kind of stuff as much as we like. And that's half the fun of being a streamer, is that we do get to... half the fun of being a streamer with an audience is that you and I get to chew the fat on this kind of stuff and see where our imaginations can take us with it, and play the what if game a little bit as well. Whoa. That's loud. NTP. Hey, NTP. Right, okay. Thank you. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for the follow, and I hope you enjoy yourself. Time is it now? 10:05. Probably going to only go on for another 25 minutes or so, but yeah, we're talking about some lower shit and some options, and the what if game. Open system map.
System cartography.
So what we got over here? No, they're not interesting, because they're not landable. Because they are landable, sorry. Closed system map. Closed system map.
Leaving map.
Hard to interact in game? I don't know, because I think the trade interface that we have with the space stations is one element of how we can take the navigation and how we can take the communication within the game. all it would take is to have a slightly different, slightly more, I don't want to say random, slightly more subversive, I suppose less exacting trade system that would sort of be based on our limited knowledge of how the Thargoids think and our limited knowledge of how they would actually react to us and what they would want to trade. So we would, if we encountered a Thargoid ship in space, for example, we could have a communications thing with them, but we wouldn't really have much of a clue what they were talking about. But what we would see is that they would potentially drop some cargo containers, or drop a Thargon, or drop something at the bottom of their ship that we could then scan, detect that it would come up, as far as we were concerned, as alien item, or alien cargo, or alien something, and then we could scoop that on board, and then it'd be up to us then to drop something out. If we don't drop something out, then the Thargoid comes after us and tries to attack us. If we drop something else out that they find interesting, then they'll maybe drop something else and say that yes, this was a good deal, or they'll, if it's something they're not that bothered about, then they won't drop anything else, scoop up what we've deposited and then leave. That's fairly easy to write into an AI. It's fairly easy to write into a game, into an encounter concept, rather than just having your constant attack, or NPC, which isn't necessarily going to do anything with you. It adds another dimension to the game, rather than just having stuff like that. So. Exactly, Loki. Yeah, the idea of being able to open diplomatic and trade negotiations, and then trying to make some kind of understanding there as to how to make that work or how to expand on that. And that's something the players would drive. Engage jump drive.
Jumping.
The players would drive that because they're the ones that would be doing these interactions. They would find the ways of doing it. And although Frontier and their developers would put certain elements of that in there, the players, being the people that players are, would find ways to not get round that, but would find ways to supplement that with in ways that the developers never even thought of, which is what Frontier have told us happens all the time. I think it's a great idea. I think it's something that should be toyed with, and I really do hope that, obviously, the things are looking towards this is the Thargoids coming back at us. What are they going to do? Are they going to be hostile? Are they going to instantly try and blow the shit out of us when they find us? All the media seems to point in that thing. I mean, that video they released with kind of what looked like the wreckage of human ships with a large Thargoid thing, or a large alien thing floating about and looking quite sinister. If that's their way of teasing the fact that the Thargoids are going to come along and are basically going to try and kick our asses for us whenever we find them, then so be it. That's the Thargoid relationship, that carries it on from the original Elite, and I suppose it does reboot it back to the Elite concept, which is fair enough. Open system map.
System map.
Let's have a shufty at these, see what we've got.
You'd better ask our scientist. Verity?
Confirmed. Coma Berenices is a traditional asterism that has since been defined as one of the 88 modern constellations. It is located near Antares and the constellation Leo, to which it formerly belonged, and contains the North Galactic Pole. Its name means Berenice's hair, in Greek via Latin, and refers to the legend of Queen Berenice II of Egypt, who sacrificed her long hair.
Fascinating.
That's useful. Thank you for that. I'm going to have to switch that crap off because it just gets in the way whenever I say something even remotely like what's been said. But yeah, so as that was going on, I got another follow. I'll do in first. Thank you for the follow, mate. Very much appreciated. Hope you enjoy the channel, and I'm glad you're watching. Pies are available on request. Oops. Yeah, we're looking at pretty standard worlds there, I think. Nothing important. Closed system map.
Exiting map.
Yeah, but it would be nice to see, once the Thargoid thing has taken hold and has taken effect, is there anything else out there, right? Are there any other alien races out there that may come that may come through? I'd love to think that there will be, that they're not going to just leave it as the Thargoids being the only thing there. Oh, macaroni pies. Oh, it's been a while. Oh. And let's have some other alien races out there who aren't necessarily going to be completely hostile. Let's have them come at us and try and do the things I've suggested, which will be try and open trade with us, try and negotiate with us. And obviously the Federation and the Empire would probably be right in there gung-ho, get back away from our territory, blah 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 blah. Whereas the actual players and the independent pilots and those who are in favour of the Alliance or whatever are going to be, whoa, 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 wait a minute, let's see what we can do. And hopefully people like Canon Research and the player groups aligned with that kind of thinking would jump in there and try and intercept these things before the Federation and the Empire storylines kick in. That's the kind of thing I want to be able to see, that players can make a difference towards intergalactic relations going forward in this game. And that would be awesome. That would be awesome. So, as I say, I don't know where they're thinking about going with it. It'd be lovely to be like that. Obsidian Ant said 3 rumoured alien races. Well, if anybody's going to know, would it be Obsidian Ant? Oh, when the AIs that escaped into space during the AI war of a nice storyline. That would be nice. But where did you get this thing about AIs escaping into the galaxy? That's an interesting idea that I've not heard anything about. Because part of the RPG development, I actually asked for permission to include some content about AI that wasn't necessarily based on the big AI thing, but it's something that I could put in there that did involve some AI involvement, and I was given that permission, but that has since been revoked as part of the rewrite that I was asked to do, which I'm gutted about, because obviously it means I've now got to drive everything right back to nothing, basically, which is a loss of a huge bit of content that I really wanted to put in there. Someone asked on the forum when Elite Dangerous was first announced, so in case anyone here is interested, blah blah blah, watch this space. AI, Thargoid, their other cousin. Would that be the Eresrians? Interesting. The conspiracy aliens. Do you mean the conspiracy aliens from Star Trek, or the other conspiracy aliens? Well, there was the non-human artifact thing that was found supposedly in the very start of human expansion into space, isn't there? That has been described as not being Thargoid in origin. So you think the UAs and the UPs and things like that aren't actually Thargoid artifacts? You think there's something different? That's interesting. Because everyone's bunched them together as the same thing, haven't they? Engage jump drive.
Engaging jump.
Interesting. A collection of highly illegal AI remnants. These items are of extreme interest to various shady organisations and remote cults. Their almost mythical status has led to a huge amount of counterfeiting, further inflating the value of the items with a clear and proven history. It's uncertain whether any of these pieces actually retain the AI personality originally present within. Interesting. See, this is the thing, I've not really been playing much with the new kind of touristy things, because I know quite a lot of lore has gone into those, which I'm quite proud to say that was part of helping develop. Yay! Open system map.
System cartography.
Closed system map.
Leaving map.
So very interesting. I'm actually finding this quite educational tonight. Engage jump drive.
Engaging jump drive.
So this is all things I hadn't even thought about. The UAs aren't actually Thargoid, because I've always just made the assumption, based on quite a lot of the stuff that's been bandied around on the forums, or not necessarily the forums but online and so on, that the UAs and all that kind of stuff were all part and parcel of the Thargoid incursion, or them coming into us. They're on their way, and this is them trying to give things away. And it's interesting because I get the feeling, given the focus of attention from the UAs and the UPs or UBs or whatever else, or UPs and barnacles, that now that the Thargoid wreckage or Thargoid installations or Thargoid content has been found, that the attention has moved away from the UAs and onto these ships, because they think it's the next iteration of the same story. Now that puts an interesting concept into the thing, that if that's not the case, then obviously the message from the barnacles and the message from the UAs and all this translated stuff maybe points somewhere else. It doesn't point at Thargoids, it's pointing at something completely different. And by ignoring the barnacles and all that kind of stuff now, we're actually missing a trick. So that's interesting. Open system map.
System cartography.
Oh, this is looking hopeful. That one looks very hopeful. That's a water world then. Alright, let's explore this system then. We can grab that water world at the very least. Closed system map.
Exiting map.
Also, when you look at that crash with UAs falling out, it means the Thargoids, if they are Thargoids, are trying to find out what the UAs are as well. Exactly, see, that's kind of where I was going with that comment before, where I got slightly distracted by a water world there. Is that we are looking at a situation where the Thargoids have probably had this same information. Because let's face it, I mean, Thargoids, if you look at the lore side of it and you look at the storyline side of it, the Thargoids have met us before. They know what we're like. They know what we've done to them. we also have this thing that we kind of fucked them over, so why would they want to try and send mysterious messages that aren't essentially saying, screw you guys, we're taking your shit? Yeah, it does beg that question. Why would they try and make contact when they know what we're like? So which then leans it towards a third party. It's a third party that the Thargoids themselves are trying to find out about as well. Interesting. Yes, that was one question I actually had initially, was why are if this is Thargoids, why are they using things like Morse code? And these new bases that are currently being looked at, I mean, everyone's looking at them as being a Thargoid thing. I don't see anything Thargoid about them. Where's your 8-sided symmetry? I know that's maybe old hat, or it's questionably canonical whether this 8-sided thing is something to do with Thargoid psyche or culture. But if you look at it, there's nothing there that really identifies it as being something that's Thargoid in origin. If anything, it looks human military in origin, because it looks very much like an old style secret base. You've got a place where things could be parked, you've got wedge formation stuff that could be sitting on the ground, you've got circles, you've got what look like structures laid out in a circle, which isn't the philosophy of Thargoid design as far as we understand it, so who knows. So I mean, are there an ancient race of humans that essentially we're an offshoot from? So no, that's it. I agree with you, Karumba. I agree with both of you, to be honest. I don't think it's Thargoid. It doesn't feel Thargoid to me. I mean, if this stuff is the case, then I think Frontier have been very, very clever by introducing more than one storyline at the same time. By introducing the Thargoids coming into the situation, as well as teasing the arrival of another third party, or a third party, as it were, a third race. Then it's clever. Is there someone else out there? I mean, the Thargoids are at war with us. Is there someone else out there who they're also at war with? And if there is, then how are they doing in that war? Are there other battlefronts? And we have the generation ships. Yes, I was just going to come to that. Ancient humans begs the question of ancient generation ships. What happened to them? And there was a question asked at Elite Meet in Birmingham around the EGX thing about the generation ships, and there was a lot of very quiet discussion amongst the devs and amongst Mike about where things were going to go. Well, I've kind of lost track of that sentence. Not where things are going to go, but there was some quiet conversation between them all before they answered that question, and the answer they gave was very vague. I know they're famous for being vague, soon TM and all that, but the fact that there was a lot of conversation around it as well makes me think, is there something else that's in Mike's head or is in the devs' heads that is coming that is not necessarily aimed at the Thargoids having a go? Could it be the generation ship people have created their own civilization way out in the galaxy? That's interesting. I mean, I've not really got a sense of scale for those ancient ruins, but with the size of a generation ship in profile, or on end on, sort of fit that circle in the ancient ruins? Could that be something that was actually created there or put there by the crash landing or the landing of a generation ship, and that basically they landed on a planet with the generation ship intact and lived in it for however long, and then once they evolved to a certain level, or they got enough technology sorted out, or mined enough and did the same thing that we do in the current Elite universe, did they then move on? So This is the way my mind goes. This is the sort of stuff that... This is the sort of thinking and the sort of imaginative reasoning that got me into Elite in the first place. And the lore and being involved with doing some of the background stuff sort of sparked a lot of that stuff off. Doing the RPG and the lore that went into the RPG is what has brought a lot of the writing into the RPG that was my own creative stuff. And a lot of other stuff along the sides of that as well, that didn't go into the RPG initially. But still has sparked off various different threads of thought on things. And there's a lot there, and this is one of the reasons why the RPG's first draft receipt and getting the rewrite back, which was take out all your creative stuff and cut down the word count, means that I can't really follow that stuff through anymore. I can't even put the hooks in that I originally put in to drive away towards things like the AI fate and other things that were going on. I can't do that anymore, which is a shame, and I think the book will have lost something because of that. But if that's the sort of stuff that's going to go on in the game, then that's fine. You know, that's the sort of stuff that's going to keep me playing the game, it's going to keep me interested, it's going to keep me invested in it, and yeah, I'll be following this for however long it takes to get that stuff out. I just think we're going to have a bit of I think we're going to have quite a lot of interesting gameplay coming up, and I'm hoping it's not just going to be fight after fight after fight, that Frontier are going to put some variety in the first contact situations, and that we're going to have some alliances possibly coming up. I want to land on that. That's pretty. Anyway, next planet. Well, to be honest, you want my opinion on that, is if you look at the circular part of it, does that not look vaguely like the rotationy bit in an Imperial ship? It also, to be honest, it actually reminds me quite strongly of the thrusters. Because if you look at the thrusters on the ships and the way that they're kind of segmented on the inside, if you look at the top, the sort of north surface or the north edges of that from that picture, it does look very much like it's a thruster pack, a very large thruster pack. But that bit down in the sort of lower right side, it looks like a car park for all intents and purposes, and on the left as well. Yeah, it does. See, this is the sort of stuff that I love. When you've put that picture up now, you've got me thinking outside the box on it now. Is it a wreckage site? Is it a ruin site? Everybody's saying it's a facility of some kind. Is it though? Or is it just... is it something else? Is it a launch site? Is it a ship? Is there something buried under there? Is it a collection of things? It does, yeah. Looks like the small docking port from the inside of a Coriolis. Yeah. If there's a lot of craters clustered around that site, then yes. Alternatively, are the craters caused by the wreckage of that thing, or bits of the wreckage of that thing falling to the ground? I mean, maybe we overthink this stuff. I mean, it looks to me, you look at that, there is a perimeter there, there's an obvious wall, there's an obvious entrance in that wall, and there's two obvious sort of buildings. It looks very, very functionally like it's a castle or a fort or something like that. A walled colony, is that the word? A walled fortification is the phrase I'm looking for. So that's your obvious yeah, the craters aren't centered on that facility though. So I mean, obviously you've got the big crater there with the star lines around it, and you've also got there's quite a lot of big craters around there. If it's an asteroid heavy system, then that'll be where your craters come from. Or is it just an artifact of the way that the stellar forge works, that it just randomly generates, or pseudo randomly generates what these things are? Or is it a custom designed planet? We don't know. Only Frontier knows that. Whoa, dude, don't do that to me. That was harsh. Let's go back, have a look at groups, see if I've got any requests to join the group, which I may do, because some of you have expressed an interest. No request for membership, that's fine. Server 1205. Private group. Selezen Lake.
Activating beacon now.
When I was driving around the site, I would agree there are obvious routes through walls, not really wide enough for an SRV. Really? So they look like quite big gaps. They might have missed this check other planets and systems to compare. I want to speculate what FDev thinks. I'm not even in game at the moment. I find this far more interesting. Well, that's cool, mate. Look, if this is the sort of stuff that you like, then happy to provide. Access guides but to reflow routes. So still we don't have substantiated routes. Open galaxy map.
Stellar cartography.
Oh no, it has maintained the link. It's maintained the route, so it does maintain routes now. That's fine then. Exit. Engage jump drive.
Engaging jump.
Cancel jump. Open system map.
System map.
That's what we're doing, isn't it? Close system map.
Closing map.
Engage super cruise.
Preparing for cruise.
Ghost Gurio, thank you for the follow. Most appreciated, and hope you're enjoying the stream. Hello Talon. Welcome to the stream to you as well. Max Ursa, hello! Well, you're all piling in now. It's a busy night. I'm not complaining. Not in the slightest. Sitting looking at your first news report, that's a special sight, isn't it? Nearly pooed my pants when I first saw one. Max Ursa, thank you for the follow. Although I thought you'd followed already, actually. Never mind. Your name is familiar. I just assume this is if it's a familiar name, then you've probably been around before. Kilara Gaming, again, thank you for following the channel. Thank you for your custom. Oops. Oops, 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 oops. Loop of shame! That's pretty good. I've gone through the entire night without any loops of shame. Water world! A sneaky water world. Awesome. Let's have a shufty at that one then. I wouldn't have thought you'd find a water world this far out. I thought it'd be frozen. Yeah, it's quite bland. Let's have a look around there then. That's getting quite busy in there. Some players speculate it's a machine. It's odd since we find stuff like ancient Umis and ancient caskets, etc., with ancient totem and ancient orbs, which leads to show it's a burial site. Okay, interesting. Good evening, Max Ursa, Max Ursa, Max Ursa. Talon for be careful. Hello, pal. Pal? Don't call me dog food. Don't call me dog food, chum. Close comms.
Comms closed.
Twitch forgets who I follow every so often. Hello, Ghost Guru. Hello, familiar soul. Pretty sure we've met in person. We probably have, but again, names, actual people's names and faces don't match up to Twitch addresses very often, so I don't have a clue. Max Ursa, Selezen and I haven't met. The person who cut my hair was a figment of my imagination. Is that the only trick I've got? The only thing I've done worthy of note in the last while with you, alien, is cut your hair. I thought we had more than that. I thought we had a detailed, long and illustrious history. What about all those missions we fought together in the Crimea? I'm glad we have more stuff to find on planets now. Yep. Found fungal life, which is mycoid. That's pretty cool. Found cordycaps. Don't want that anywhere in humanity. No. Trading in delta data is CG, but still have alpha, beta and epsilon, negative and gamma. Could be a mutation of the mycoid virus, which also I think the barnacles are. Well, the mycoid was a spore. It was originally a spore, so it would have came from fungus already, and humanity created a virus from it. For what it's worth, NTP in game. Oh, okay. If you don't count telling me to be quiet, then yes, count me as a That's not fair. It's not very nice either. I'm nice. Alright, it's getting a little bit late on this evening, so I'm going to have to tone the voice down a little bit. There are people trying to sleep around here. Around these parts. And I'm really, really, really bloody thirsty. I'm going to have to draw it to a close soon. I'm hoping it's not going to take too much longer to explore this system, or else I'm going to die of thirst in the meantime. You should have brought more than one bottle of juice up. That came back to charge 3 DAX 1 Ohm. Wow, welcome to the stream. I don't recognise that name from anywhere. Loop of correction. Because I saw that I'd overshot before it said slow down. So it's not a loop of shame. Wee bit of content. Now we've got the big jump to get to the next star. There's another loop of shame because I'll forget what I'm doing halfway there and I'll go off onto a tangent. gonna log in and set up my VA profile. You all have a good time. Good night to you, NTP. Take care of yourself, and thank you for watching. Thank you for the follow and everything. Hopefully see you next time. Charge 3, Dax 1 on. Yes, they are deadly. Have fun. Oh, some things are the same thing you did. Laugh my ass off like I escaped. Yeah, it's easy thing to do. Yeah, it sucked. Hey, other DJ. DJ Truthsayer is in the house. Not seen you for a while, mate. Why would I slow down? I'm like 2 hours away from where I need to be. I just want to point out, because this kind of stuff interests me, that this stream, my stream, is actually second on the featured streamer and community streams list on Elite's site, on the Frontiers community site tonight. So thank you guys for all watching and giving me 38 viewers with which to put myself in the illustrious ranks of the most viewed streams this evening. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yay! Dozer, thank you for the follow. Probably going to get a ding dong. There we go. You need way more, just people don't know you well enough for some reason. And what pool of knowledge I am. Well, that's one way of describing me, mate. A pool of knowledge. A poo of knowledge could be more accurate. A bit of a shit. It's interesting. It's thank you for saying that, by the way. I mean, it would be nice to be to have some more viewers. It's great it's been double figures, to be honest with you. It's rather a unique experience being double figures for once. Thank you for the follow, Charge 3 Dax 1 Charged Axiom. That's it, Charged Axiom. Charged Axiom. Now I know what to call you. Charged Axiom. So Dozer, Charged Axiom, thank you for the follows in the last couple of minutes. Great, thank you. I'm well on my way towards becoming a person with triple figures of followers. Actually, I don't know how many followers I've got now. Something I haven't really checked for a while. The only way to really check that is to go into your own channel page and have a look at how many people are actually following, but I don't actually have a count of that. But never mind. Yeah, it takes a few minutes for things to catch up. Obviously, you've got the 20 to 30 second delay on the actual stream as well to cope with. So of course you've got that amount of time between you clicking on follow and the notification coming through to T-Board, and then T-Board popping it up when it feels like it, and then the delay of me seeing it and then saying something about it, and then the delay between me seeing about it and you getting it. You could be talking roughly around a minute, maybe a minute and a half, depending on how slow things are. But Reaper Jamie 1981, thank you for the follow, and from what I see on there, you're apparently a Scotsman as well. That's very impressive. So yes, always great to have another Scotsman aboard. Can never be enough Scotsmen around as far as I'm concerned. Selezen is growing. Well, that's pretty cool. Yes, the channel's growing. The YouTube channel is growing as well, and that's pretty cool because you would not believe. Oh my God, they're coming in thick and fast. I'll wait for the thing. Another follow there, and probably another one coming up in a second. I'll grab everybody at the same time. Loki Veneer, thank you for the follow, and Schizoid69, thank you for the follow as well. I'm glad you're enjoying the channel, I'm glad you're enjoying the trip, and I'm glad you're enjoying the chat. Yeah, it's been a great night tonight. I've had loads of follows, we've had loads of great conversation, some hints and tips and some technical advice. It's been a rip-roaring roller coaster of a ride this evening. But yeah, I mean the Twitch stream is growing. I mean that's, did you say 280 people? So that's, yeah, I was quite stoked about getting 200 a few months ago, and now I'm approaching very quickly the 300 mark. That's going to be pretty cool to hit that, another milestone. Reaper Jamie, no, we're just doing exploration. I started this exploration mission about 6 months ago now, I think, and it's been slow going. So we're doing a circumnavigation of the galaxy, going around the core, not through it. What was I saying? I need to focus on where I'm going next.
Verity, why don't you explain?
No.
Terminator. No, not the one looking for Sarah Connor. More, the boundary between the light side and the dark side of a planet. Or other body. Nothing to do with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Quite an education.
That's a good one, actually. I like that one. Yeah, the YouTube channel, not a lot in the way of followers or subscribers and so on. But as far as views is concerned, I mean, when I did, obviously I upload all of, or most of, if not nearly all of, the Twitch videos go up to YouTube on that channel. But I've also started to branch out and do things like reviews and build videos and stuff like that as well. I did my first build video a few weeks ago around the Pine 64 single board computer and how to stick it into a touchscreen case, and because of that video primarily I have now blasted through 12,000 views. I was only on something on the order of 6,000 views when I put that video up, and because that video has gone up and it's obviously hit a particular demographic, the views have gone through the roof. So I've blasted through 10,000 and I've blasted through 12,000 within a couple of weeks, and that's pretty amazing. That's pretty cool. I'm well impressed with that. So I don't know, I think there's people who are watching those and are getting a little bit of interest with the Twitch videos. It's very like a Raspberry Pi, Reaper Jamie, yeah. It's a 64-bit variant of, or builds upon the kind of idea that was behind Arduino boards and the Raspberry Pi, but rather than being 32-bit like the Raspberry Pi, this one's 64-bit. So it could run Windows, probably. I don't know if it could or not. Is the Raspberry Pi 364-bit? I don't know. I've not counted. The last thing I knew about Raspberry Pi was the Raspberry Pi Zero came out. Wait a minute. That's better. No idea where I'm going. But one of the other things that I've been kind of talking about on the stream lately, and talking about the growing thing, is that I've been embarking on a weight loss journey. I refuse to call it a diet because it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle change. And although I've not been actually physically weighing myself since the last weigh-in I had, which was a few weeks ago, I have been measuring myself. So my girth, my overall diameter, has decreased by 4 inches, and my boob size, or my is it the bust size, the bit when you measure around your chest, has gone down by 2 inches as well. So I'm losing width, I'm losing parts. I'm still keeping with the calorie controlled diet thing, so I'm still not eating any more than 16 to 1800 calories a day. So it's gradually coming off. So I am going in the right direction. And I've noticed recently, and this is something I actually thought my clothes were getting damaged in the washing machine, or I was stretching them in some way. But I've actually realised that I am now actually thinner across the shoulders than I was when I bought these t-shirts. I currently wear 4XL t-shirts because my belly is so large, and they usually fitted quite well around the head and shoulders. But I've noticed that now I seem to have a very large amount of movement in the neck, and that's actually not because the hole's got any bigger. It's apparently because my shoulders have got smaller and my neck has got thinner. So that's really good bit of news, a very odd bit of news, and something I didn't actually expect to happen. But the fact that it's pretty much every t-shirt I own has now got the same thing, points to the fact that it's not damage to the t-shirts themselves. It's actually me that's changed, which is it's interesting thing. Go away for 5 minutes and we're back to boobs. So yeah, that's a good thing. I've not really kept up with the sort of weighing myself thing, because I've never been a big fan of weighing myself anyway, and I find it difficult to motivate myself to do that. But I do tend to keep an eye on what the width is. I do know that my belt that I've had for a while, which I was in the 5th hole, I've been in the 6th hole now for a while. Another water world. This is the water world I was expecting, so I did interpret that sound properly. It is indeed a water world. Exactly, Darksmark, that's exactly what I said, is that the channel is growing. In the meantime, I seem to be going the other way. Always a good thing. Both good things. All is good, all is well. I'm a happy man. So yeah. This is a rather attractive water world, actually. I quite like this one. So we're gonna screenshot that up.
Recording high-resolution image.
I'll nip into the outside view. And then screenshot that as well.
Capturing image.
Thank you, DJ Tarjan, for the comment there, and yes, I do feel like Uhura. Sadly, I don't look like Uhura, because if I did, then I would never go away from the mirror. At least Uhura from the 60s. I'm not entirely sure if I'd be attracted to Uhura current day. And I mean old Uhura. You know, the original Uhura, not Zoe Saldana Uhura. Who's attractive in a certain way, but... Oh... Yeah, no, B cup. Possibly, yeah. I think I was verging on a C cup. I think I might be down to a B cup now. I did learn something very interesting lately as well about boobs, man boobs, moobs, whatever you want to call them. Is that they're not just fat deposits, they're actually boobs. They're actually burgeoning functionality breasts, which is a very odd thing to think about, because basically what happens when you get fat itself actually promotes the generation of estrogen in the human body. So the more fat you have, the more fat cells you have in your body, the more estrogen you actually produce, and that's absorbed by your body. So you basically generate female hormone, which is essentially female growth hormone, and that promotes the growing of boobs, which is bizarre. So it basically means that those of us who are a little bit on the overweight side, or even quite a lot on the overweight side, like myself, it's not just fat deposits, it's boobs. So by all means, if you're lonely and you're a bit sad, or you're a bit you don't have a girlfriend or nothing, by all means grope your own boobs, because they are actually boobs. There you go. Life tips for the sad and lonely. We become biomorphs. I don't think it actually promotes the growth of other things. Charles Axum, I'm using an ED tracker, ED tracker. That's another one of those little advert things that I've not got drawn up yet, but it's an ED tracker. If you go to edtracker.org.uk, I think it is, or just do a search online for ED tracker. Loop of bloody shame. I really need to try and ask Paul Watson if the next time he gets Brian Blessed in the studio, can he please record him saying loop of shame? Because that would be the best soundbite ever from my channel. Channel is growing, slightly shrinking, reach full, you're bring the fishing rods. It's a Costner world. Can't wait a few years till we can splash around at the planets. I'm actually really looking forward to the day when we get planetary landing on water worlds, where we can actually have ships that will act as seagoing ships as well, and that we can actually land our ship on the water and buy a boat. So rather than having ship-launched fighters and ship-launched SRVs, we'll actually have ship-launched speedboats. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Sensors to long range.
And then all those wonderful water worlds that we have, we can actually explore them properly, whether that be on the water or underwater. That would be amazing. And I think it's something that will probably come, to be honest. You could technically have baby, just need a second hole. With multicoloured kappa. Well. Not entirely sure what to say to that. Those for you'll grow boobs. Yeah, you probably will, but you'll probably grow something else as well. Leap of shame, land ahoy, take orca and belugas underwater. Yes. Scoop a beluga. Not only is that a fantastic phrase, it's a lovely idea. Yes, I did see that. Is it true that all of the, is it Gutamaya or is it Saud-Kruger ships, like the orca, the beluga and potentially the dolphin, are supposed to be designed to be multi-surface, so you can fly in atmosphere and you can fly in space and you can fly in water? That would be pretty cool. Yes, I do agree. They are named to do that. That would be great. But that would be such a passenger mission, wouldn't it? Jump on board and we're going underwater. We are now going to visit the plains of Poseidon. This is where The Little Mermaid was filmed 1,200 years ago. If you look to your left, you will see the original site of Ariel's castle. Or Ariel's castle, whichever way you want to say it. Hehehe. Scuba beluga. You've got to put a beat to that. Scuba beluga. In it. It would be cool though. I know it's just concept art and they tend to change quite a lot of the concepts from the concept art to the actual execution, but still, it would be pretty cool. And if they can do planetary landings and they can do ship-launched fighters and ship-launched SRVs, then there's no engine-based reason why they couldn't do ship-launched boats or ship-launched submarines. Just imagine it though, just imagine. Land your beluga on the water. press a little button that says launch your boat, jump into your little submarine, launch your submarine, surface the submarine, get out the submarine, sit on the submarine turret and just watch the water. Watch it lapping against your submarine. Dip your feet in the water. It would be spectacular. Yes, DJ Tarjan, I have always considered Planet Coaster to be a technical test for the crowd-based physics of Elite Dangerous, or potentially the crowd-based physics of Elite Dangerous. And everything on there, like planetary surface-wise, atmospheric-wise, lighting, all the stuff that's on there, terrain, everything that's in that game will be something that can be used for Elite, because I believe it uses Cobra as well, so it's all aspects of the same engine. And of course you look all the way back to the Outsider, that was the original test for the first person elements of what could go into Elite Dangerous. And even though they keep on saying, oh, we can't do it yet, we can't do it yet, the groundwork has been done for it to be done, so I have no doubt that at some point it's going to get shoved into the game. They're just waiting for it all to catch up and be in the right place. Gotta go. No worries, Charged Axiom. I will probably be going offline in about the next 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to finish my exploration of this system, and then I'm going to find somewhere I can land, and then that's me for the night. So depending on how long it takes to find that last landing place, that'll be how long you've got. Oh, the tech for procedural cities has been around for a long time, mate. I mean, I actually have, I think it's a 60-line application, a 60-line code base that generates procedural cities. It's not a difficult thing to do now. Procedurally generated cityscapes with skyscrapers and ground buildings. Exterior only, but then the majority of the time, at least to start off with, it's somewhere to go. It just proves that that can be done with a very small amount of code and a very small amount of processing time. It's the interiors and the relative locations and the relative movement of things that's going to take all the processing time. But it's not difficult. Yeah, for the Cobra engine, yes, I agree. Fair enough. Yeah, it's been done, it's there, it's waiting to get plugged in, and I just think it's just a matter of getting the universe in the right place and making sure that they can procedurally generate the planet itself and its entire content well enough and consistently enough without hammering people's graphics cards. Because I'll be honest with you, I've seen Star Citizen, the Alpha 3 demos that came out at CitizenCon, and they look absolutely fucking spectacular, but they hammer your processor. They are being developed for high-end machines, whereas one thing that Frontier has always been very good at is making sure that the stuff they're developing will work on mid-range machines. I mean, I don't have a powerful machine, I have a mid-range machine. When I bought it, it was mid-range, but it still runs the latest version, and it runs it fairly seamlessly. But I tried to run Star Citizen's first person demo, and it struggled. Even without it being even without the Alpha 3 being the thing, it struggled. And I don't know if it's because they haven't actually optimised anything yet. There we go, we've got a landable planet there, or I can just go to the next system. Probably quicker to go to the next system, to be honest. Engage jump drive.
Jumping to light speed.
Now we're getting to avatars, which lead to legs and walking around. Yeah. It's coming, it's not going to be long. Yeah, this is the thing. Star Citizen is going down one development path, and it's a very, very different development path to Elite. And this is why I get a bit annoyed sometimes when people compare the two very closely. I think that Frontier needs to be a bit worried that Star Citizen now have got fully enabled planetary systems going. Or fully enabled planet surfaces are now working, because it means that they're on the ball as far as that's concerned, and they're now catching up to the level of being able to put that into a game and actually make it playable. However, what Elite have given us is a game you can actually play and be immersed in and have the complete space-based adventure of your life, and have some scouting about on planets without interfering with a population that's on there. So that's fair enough. But Elite is optimised. Elite is a released game on the market, being sold, bringing in money to do further development, and it is a good game. And it's optimised, and it works on a hell of a lot more machines than Star Citizen does. Star Citizen needs to go through at least a year of optimisation before it's going to be anywhere near the compatibility level of Elite Dangerous. So, immersion hype. Shut up. I likes me immersion. Open system map.
System cartography.
Yeah, we've got some landables there. That'll do. Yeah. Thought these were meant to be rendered. I'm going there. Close system map.
Closing map.
The thing about Elite Dangerous is that Elite Dangerous has a minimum spec, but my old laptop, even in Horizons and even in Guardians Beta, could actually run the game. Oh, after a detailed discovery scan, I see. Got you. Okay. That's a bit shit. Yeah, that was a tune. Cool. What's I saying? Yeah, my laptop was an old spec laptop, 8-year-old laptop. When Guardians Beta came out, I could run the Guardians Beta on my laptop. A single core NVIDIA fucking old machine. I mean, you're talking like honestly 8 years old. It would run it. It struggled. It had issues. It had a tendency to crash now and again, or sometimes it just wouldn't load. But it ran it. It ran it on low quality, but it ran it. This machine walks all over it. The only time I've ever had an issue is because I'm obviously sacrificing 2 cores of my 6 to run OBS. And the biggest issue is that obviously there's not enough memory. That's my plan for this Christmas, is I'm hopefully going to get some memory expansions. But that's it. Pistol over it. Elite is optimised enough to run on old hardware that comes up in the initial load up as being incompatible, but it will run. And that's the beauty of it. It's made to run on as many things as possible, and that's the decision Frontier made in their design process, is to make sure it can do that kind of stuff. Star Citizen looked amazing, looks absolutely gorgeous. It's got a lot of features. The planetary stuff looks absolutely gorgeous, but until they have that year of optimization, it's not going to run. It's not going to run on the vast majority of machines. They're developing it on top-end hardware with 15 million quid's worth of funding just for that one game. Yeah, and it shows. They haven't focused much on this stuff at all, on the optimization at all. They just want to get it out there. We want to make it look awesome and then fix it. So I don't know where it's going. They're very different beasts, as I say. Everybody keeps having these comparisons between I like Star Citizen and Elite is crap, and I like Elite and Star Citizen is crap. They're two totally different beasts. You can like both without actually betraying one or the other, because they are very, very different beasts. They have a whole different model. Where we're going to ditch today. Deploy landing gear.
Landing gear is down and locked. Excuse me for a second while I focus on landing the ship. Okay, what did I miss? Afterburners engaged.
Google ruined what beta means. If Elite's more
Transferring power to engines. Stand by.
if Elite sold more custom stuff, then they could make more cash. The shop is a bit bare. This is very true, but then you've got to give them the chance to develop this stuff. They're trying to focus the development team on actually
restored.
on getting the game done, rather than some of the custom stuff they could do. I think the kits for ships are a stupid idea because they don't add anything to the game, and they just take people's attention away from the stuff that needs to get done. So. We're on a potato. Crush Roberts himself said if it wasn't for the low-end peons, basically with that one comment, I refuse to ever buy his program. That's a fair enough point of view. Okay, good night to you, Karumba. Thank you for being here, mate. I'm obviously going to be logging off myself shortly, so thank you for watching, and thank you for following, and thank you for your comments and your company, mate. Take care and hopefully see you next time. All the best. Yes, I think it's a weird thing. I think because they've got the amount of money that they've got, they can take the opportunity to say, right, well, we want to do this, we want to do it. If we want to limit ourselves to what we can do because we want to cater for low end machines, then that's the way we're going to do it. But if we don't want to limit ourselves and try and go for the most impressive, graphically awesome game that we can develop, then that's the way we're going to do it as well. And it's a matter of choice. I don't agree with leaving out the lower powered machines because I'm one of them, and it means I wouldn't get to see it. But I suppose I can understand it. And the theory would be, if you look at it that way, is if they keep developing this game and they increase the specification for the game in line with the way that the technology goes in that time, then they are going to ostracise a hell of a lot of people who originally backed the game, who are then going to have to go out and buy new computers in order to play the game that they've already paid for, which is bad. If, however, he maintains the level of technology that he has at the moment and develops on that platform, then obviously in 2, 3, 4 years' time, when it eventually comes out, because it is looking like the biggest bit of virtualware or vaporware that's ever been invented, then if he maintains that, then you could find that in 3, 4 years' time, the specifications of even the lower-end machines at that point in time will be enough to run it. So it's not really a problem. The life cycle of even the machines that people were running when Star Citizen was funded would mean that they'd have been replaced by then. So it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. I like space games no matter who makes them. Yeah, I agree. I'm into space sims. I want to look at that shit. I want to look at that shit and enjoy myself in it and explore it and love it and hug it and cuddle it and stroke it and call it names and call it Daisy. And look at and drive around on this shit and look at this kind of crap and move my stick around and my stick actually move around, you know, like that. No, doesn't twist. Faster, slower, even slower, faster. This is the sort of stuff that I got into gaming to do, was play this sort of game. So whatever comes along that's going to be good and is going to engage me, I will play. No Man's Sky was an unmitigated disaster and didn't deliver a game that was actually playable, which is sad because I was quite looking forward to it. Star Citizen, if it's runnable on the machine that I have when it actually comes out, I will play it. This game, I will play because I think this game is fucking gorgeous. And I've always maintained that, no matter what the politics in the background or no matter what my feelings about things that Frontier have done or said to me, this game, I will quite frankly kiss their feet if they keep making this game as pretty as it is, because I love it. This is what I wanted to play when I was a teenager. This is where I wanted to be when I was a teenager, and I'm now 42 with kids and a wife and a job and a career and all the crap that goes with it. Apart from a mortgage, I don't have one of them. And this is where I saw myself. Other than all that stuff that was optional, I didn't think I'd actually get, because obviously you go through teenage years, you're depressed all the time, you think you'll die alone. But I've been lucky enough to find a wife with some lovely kids and some evil kids. But as far as computer gaming is concerned, I'm exactly where I wanted to be in 1985. I'm exactly where I wanted to be. And it's Elite that's done that for me. So thank you, Frontier. Derek Smart? Who's he? I take it Derek Smart's one of the No Man's Sky people. Is Sean Murray No Man's Sky people as well? I don't know. PlanetSide music? Yeah, it's lovely. I've not had the music on for this game for a long while because obviously I use my own stream music quite often. So I've not heard it for a while, but obviously if I'm going to have to keep it on to listen to the Planet stuff, then I may have to change the way I do this. But I'll give it some thought. What's more important, stream music or the ability to determine what a planet is just by its sound? I don't actually know. Infinite Geezer, there's still a lot of music, yes there is. Dark Smack, Try the Pub, 36 Jump from Home, bye bye, bye bye, bye bye. Starship, Quantum Computers, are we there? Yes we are. Daisy Daisy Give Me Answer, very funny. Haha, one thing about the Avatar creator is a body shape slider. Yes, that was actually one of the things I actually said in a very early stream and when they first announced this concept. And I said that to other people in their streams as well, is that one thing I would demand is a body shape slider, so you're not just going to have skinny pilots. Well, let's have fat pilots. You have fat players, let's have fat pilots. Breaks my immersions. This is what I played when I was 14 in 1984 in my head. Exactly, that's exactly where I come from. The waffle is strong, the Selezen. Well, it's tired. I've been up for 20 hours now. So yes, I'm allowed to waffle. Fuck you. Derek Smart's the Battlecruiser 3000 AD. Oh yeah, I remember that. That's actually a fairly good game. If you can get it to work. Oh look, my head thing's gone funny again. Right, okay. enough of that then. Let's look at winding things up. So I've got to the bottom of my list of stuff to say, and I'm going to head off now. So, again, people, thank you for watching. It's been an awesome stream tonight. An absolutely amazing stream. Loads of people on, loads of follows, loads of great chat. Really enjoyed the chat this evening, so thank you guys. So I'm going to call it an evening. So what I'll do is I shall pause your game to stop it from faffing around with the head tracker, and then I'll call it a night. So again, it's been awesome. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. Those of you who've just joined me tonight for the first time, please come back. I hope you've enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll see you for Monday night stream next week. Keep an eye on your notifications if you've followed. If I do any more streaming, then I'll sort you out. Check out the YouTube channel at youtube.com/HughesD73, I think it is, for any other content that I might manage to try and get up there in the week. If not, then next Monday. Take care of yourselves and have a great weekend. Have a great week, sorry. Fly safe.